Well, it's Monday, and we're talking about the John Frankenheimer film, The Challenge, with Scott Glenn, Toshiro Mifune. What? Yes, let's go. Quick editor's note. One of the things that you learn in the commentary of The Challenge, a young Aikido or Kendo school, and they hired them to teach Scott Glenn how to look realistic and learn the techniques. And it was ran by a little known man, Steve Seagal. Have fun now. Happy Monday. I hope y'all's weekend was great. Ours was fantastic, and the work week has unfortunately started all over again. I bought this movie from Kino Lorber, a while back, specifically because it has Toshiro Mifune in it. Huge fan. If you've been a fan of this channel for a while, you know I have a statue of him right here on the desk. One of my all-time favorite actors in the samurai genre. This is a 1982 movie, and it has everything you would expect to find in a 1982 movie. Let's take a look at it, and then we'll talk about it. The Challenge, 1982, rated R, 1 hour and 48 perfect minutes. A down-and-out American boxer becomes involved in a feud between two Japanese brothers. Directed by the great John Frankenheimer. Written by Richard Maxwell, John Sayles, Ivan Moffat. Starring Scott Glenn, Toshiro Mifune, Donna K. Benz, and many others. There's so much cool about this movie. Let's talk about it. I didn't know anything about this movie. Honestly, I'd never seen it. It was a complete blind buy. And you know what? I loved it. It is a great story. So much behind the scenes drama. Kind of. We'll get into it. Blackout Coffee. This movie is all about a family. Specifically, two brothers. One who believes in the old way and way of the warrior, bow and arrow, the sword. He lives by the code that he was taught generation after generation. The other brother is a rich mobster, basically. Has more money than he knows what to do with, and he's a thug with a whole bunch of thugs around him. Guns galore. They have no problem killing people. They don't care, right? There's no honor. Their grandfather, when they were young, went to give one of them, Toshiro Mifune, 2 swords that had been passed down from generation to generation. And when he did, the thug brother snatched the 2 swords, injuring Mifune's son in the process. And so now, as adults, they're dealing with, they both have 1 sword. And they both want to have both swords. Now, rightfully, Toshiro Mifune should have both swords. That's who his grandfather was going to give them to pass them down to. At the start of this movie, you meet Scott Glenn, who's a washed-up boxer in America, and he's hired by Mifune's son to come overseas and take a sword. The sword, right? Turns out he doesn't have the sword. He has a knockoff sword, all right, which is great because the bad guys grab him at the airport, and Mifune's son and daughter, she gets away. They end up killing the son. They're trying to get Scott Glenn to tell them where the sword is. And that's what starts this journey into craziness. Because Scott Glenn's not a good guy at the beginning of the movie. He's not a bad guy. He just doesn't, he kind of rides that gray wave and he don't care. He's only doing this for the money. Blackout Coffee, America. This movie in general is an absurd romp through right down the middle between the way of the warrior and the way of the piece of trash. All right? And the two shall never meet, because if they do, all hell will break loose. Now, a weird thing is, Mifune's daughter is played by Donna Kai Benz. She played in like 6 movies and then disappeared. Like, never to be in anything else again. And she's quite fantastic in this. Now, fair warning, there are chesticles in this movie, because of course, like all 1982 movies, there's a love scene in it between Scott Glenn and Mifune's daughter. And at the beginning, they can't stand each other, so you know it's going to happen, like right from the very beginning. Mifune says maybe 5 lines of dialogue throughout the whole thing, but he gives 100%, especially in the climax, where Mifune and Scott Glenn go up against his Mifune's brother in the movie for the sword and his number one henchman, if you will. It's a delight. There's nothing complicated here. You get to see a hero's journey with Scott Glenn, who starts out as a, I don't care, I'm just here for my money that you promised me, and he becomes a warrior. Not a great one, but unless you've ever seen a stapler, a desk stapler, used in a sword fight, you need to watch this movie. For real. This was early Scott Glenn. He wasn't well known here, but he does a wonderful job in this role. And he puts it all out there. It's a little rough to start the whole movie, like you don't really know where it's going. But once it gets going, this is a journey, especially if you love Toshiro Mifune, you have to watch. It's a delight, and I think you'll love it. Just be forewarned, as I said, there's a little bit of bad language, there's some blood and guts. It's quite bloody for an 80s movie. You see somebody get disemboweled, you see a head cut off maybe. I mean, it's pretty graphic for back in that time period when they weren't really doing things like that. I can't say anything bad about it. I loved it. 100% bubble gum, baby. Bubble gum. Squeaky Chair liked it. All right, we're going to start the rest of our day right about now. Yeah. Michael, the microphone, Bob, Squeaky Chair in the back, and this big fat nerd. We will see you on Hump Day.